Hello everyone, this is Johannes.
And this is Sunniva.
And you are watching Board Gaming Ramblings.
And today we're taking a look at Crystal Palace.
Which is a new game from designer Carsten Lauber and released by Capstone Games and Feuerland Spiele.
It plays from 2 to 5 players in 60 to 150 minutes.
And if this is your first time on our channel, please subscribe to it by clicking the subscribe button and click the bell button to get notifications every single time we make a new video.
Yes.
So Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
This was my most anticipated game for 2019.
Yeah.
And did it make the cut? Was it good? Was it as good as I hoped it would be? It was especially one mechanism that caught my eye, which was the mechanism of doing a dice placement game with no rolling of dice. But before we talk about that, let's talk about what you do in this game. In this game, you are a nation of the world at the first ever World's Fair. And you're trying to be the nation that gets most recognized. And you will do this by backstabbing and being harsh to the other players. You will build prototypes and invest money and resources into getting people to help you being most noticeable and get buzz. You will go to the black market to do all this stuff. So it's a pretty thematic game. You're trying to be the nation that does this the best and gets the most victory points.
I didn't know that was the theme.
You didn't?
No.
Oh, now you do. After you play the game. So in Crystal Palace, you will be placing dice on different action spaces, and at the beginning of the round, as I said, you don't roll the dice. You place them under a little cup thing you have, like a box that you have. You place them under there, whatever dice, whatever pips you want, put them over, everybody reveals, and you have to pay in money the amount of pips that you have chosen. In the beginning of the game, you have 40 monies, or 40 pounds. Or I don't remember the denomination.
You have too little money.
You have 40 money, and you will think that, oh, this is a lot of money. I will spend a lot of it first round, and then you have no money in the third round, and you only can do dice which one of two on them, and that's not going to be really good. So after you've chosen your dice, you will then place them on different action spaces. Then you will resolve those action spaces from the highest pips to the lowest pips. And those action spaces will give you new prototypes you can build. They will give you influence with people. They will give you shares, which gives you more income. They will give you more buzz, and they will give you resources, which is energy and cogs, which will help you to build the prototypes and will help you to invest in the persons that will help you. And that's basically what you're doing in the game. You're going to do that, trying to get points. You get most of your points from doing the prototypes and getting help from the people. The people also can have special abilities. Also, when you build the prototypes, that will give you an ability, and this is kind of the take that element of the game, which we don't usually like. So when I build a prototype, there is a bonus or a negative thing that happens, and I can choose to do that myself or to give it to somebody else. Let's say I give it to you. You have no money. You get a loan. Whoop, whoop. There's a lot of loans in this game. You will then draw a random loan, and it can give you from -6 to -10 points at the end of the game. There's also a lot of negative point spaces on your player board you try to fill with different special abilities. And you're going to do this over 5 rounds during 2.5 years. And then after that, the player with the most points is the winner of Crystal Palace.
Yeah, there's not only like negatives on the...
No, it can be positive and negative.
Yeah, and mostly there are like in combination.
Yes.
So you're just like, oh, I'm not willing to go like 3 down in income, but am I willing to give my opponents like 3 cogs? Yeah. That's really interesting.
Yeah. I like that quite a bit, but we're getting ahead of ourselves because
we are.
It's a heavy game and you need a rulebook. And this game has a pretty good rulebook. It is 24 pages long and it's pretty comprehensible because there is a lot of actions here, there are a lot of action spaces, and it goes pretty thoroughly through how every single one works in a way that works in my brain, which is this is the start of the round, goes through the round structure, which has 7 phases, and explains everything from start to end, which is the way I tend to teach games. So this rulebook was really easy for me to read and wasn't really a lot of rule questions when you played, because most of it is pretty self-explanatory, and most of it, or not self-explanatory, but it's pretty intuitive when you have read the rules and taught the rules.
Yes.
So I think it's a really good rulebook for a heavy game.
Yeah.
And how was it like learning the rules for this one?
I don't remember it being like particularly hard. There's always some questions with like so many different components in a game, but other than that, nothing special about it.
Yeah, because there's a lot of things that goes on, but there's not a lot of them that's super hard in itself.
Yeah.
Like, so it's not a really rules-heavy game, even though there is a lot of rules,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. So the artwork and component there, what do you think?
Yeah, I think I actually, when I first took a look at the game, like displayed at Essen, I was just like, well, this isn't my type of game. But now it's
The artwork,
growing.
you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's growing on me. I think it looks nice.
It is like you will either like it or don't like it, because especially the persons look kind of creepy and scary, all of them. But there is a lot of really cool illustrations for these strange prototypes that you can make.
Yeah, that was actually really cool.
So that is why and other than that, it looks fine. There's a lot of different boards, small boards on the table, so it isn't like a big board. So you don't get like a lot of artwork on those boards really. So there's not like a lot of artwork outside of the player or the persons, and the prototypes is the one where there is really any artwork.
Yeah.
So this game we have only played with 3 players.
Yeah.
But that has been good, and we're sad that we haven't gotten around to play it with more player counts. But time didn't
Yeah.
happen.
What
So
is time?
What is time? It's board games. But we played it with 3 players sometimes, and it's taken about 2 hours, like a bit more than 2 hours the first time, and about 2 hours the other times we played. So that's a good amount of time, I think,
Yeah.
for this game. It doesn't feel long for me.
No, it doesn't feel particularly long. You're just like, in the beginning, you're 5 more rounds of this, and you're in the last round, and what did I even achieve? Yeah, so it flies by pretty quickly.
It's one of those. So this is a pretty heavy game, do you think? Yeah?
Yeah, I think so.
So what makes this game heavy? Like, those different things make different games heavy. So what does
Yeah.
make this game heavy?
First of all, the dice drafting, the dice placement.
Yeah,
of
kind
the-
of like doing your own dice draft.
Yeah, and that's really interesting because you kind of want to be the highest bidder because then you get to go 1st, but you also don't want to overspend.
Yes.
And you also want to. It's better maybe to go with set your die to 3 than to set it to a 1 and pay 2 extra to like get the worst action
Yeah,
space.
because most of the spaces where you place a 1, you have to pay 2.
Yes. So you kind of need to find a balance there, and that's really hard. And also, you have too few dice.
And you have too few money mostly.
Yeah.
So what I really like about that is that and that planning in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like the worst feeling in this game is having a 4 left and you could have done with a 2.
Yeah.
Because that's 2 coins, so 2 money that you could have
Yep.
spent for something else, and you feel like, oh, 2, that isn't a lot. It is. Everything in this game is a lot. Like 1 is a lot. Like most times, if I had 1 more money, I could do everything in the world, but now I can't do anything in the world. So I also feel like it's a super tight game. Like I remember the first time we played, you said like it doesn't feel like it's evolving. It doesn't
No.
feel. Some games, like the heavy games, in the beginning you have nothing, and then in the end you're like, oh, I have coins, and like Lisboa.
Yeah.
You build yourself up, getting
Yeah.
richer and richer. This is not like that.
Yeah, you're trying to build up, but the game keeps tearing you down. It's yeah, they're just taking the money away from you. And if you want to get points for your dice, you're sending them out of the game, and there's only like 1 spot to get more dice, and it's super.
Yeah, and especially with resources, like
Yes.
you're not getting, you can get some income, which makes it easier if you are lucky to get that. But there's like you're not feeling like, oh, in the 3rd round I have so many cogs and so much energy, so many light bulbs. I don't know. You have to work hard to get the things you need to build a prototype or to hire a person to help you. And you have to do that every round of the game. It's not getting any easier.
Yeah.
So it's one of those games that's always feeling like you're fighting an uphill battle.
Yes.
And that's what makes this game heavy for me. It's like it's always you have to work, you have to think, do I really need to do this action? Do I really need a 4? Can I survive on a 3? And then when you do, oh, I should have taken a 4 because now I'm last instead of first. And there's just so much to think about.
Yeah, and also after you've like, okay, I'm done, I'm happy with the way my dice are, and you reveal and you start placing them on the board, and you see that there's only 2 places there, but you really need that other thing, and you go for it, and you put your highest number there, and
Then somebody else fills out the other thing. You're like, oh, I
Yes.
needed that. Maybe I need that more than this first here, and then and but it's hard. It's very
Yes.
hard. So it's a super wait. Yeah, it's a heavy game.
It's a heavy game.
Heavy
Heavy,
game. Heavy game. Mostly for the planning. Here again, I think like the rules and how the flow of the game is really well done.
Yeah.
So it's not a game where you have to think like, okay, how does this work again? Because it flows really good.
Yeah.
Like with the
And the actions in itself are really simple.
Yes.
Like really simple.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, I'm there, I'm going to do this. There's really, actually, when you resolve, put all your dice in different places, there's very little AP in the game. It's just like, do a thing.
Yeah, but placing them is getting AP.
Yeah, but after that...
Okay.
Yeah.
So resolving them is pretty quick, like because you... But that's mainly because you already have chosen what you want to do.
That's true.
So after you did AP, there's no more AP.
Good for you.
Yeah, so the replayability, what do you think about that?
I'm unsure. If you get like your own nation, so that gives you something like else to focus on.
Yeah, but that's really minor.
That's really minor. But,
super minor.
And also one of the action spaces, like the criteria for getting bus on that, I don't know.
On the bus track.
Yeah, the bus track. That changes, but other than that, it's kind of what you make it up to be, I think. If you are like open-minded and want to try different strategies, you will get more different playstyles out of it than if you like, I'm going for this every time.
Yeah, this has...
Like in most games.
I think it has like a pretty middleweight, like a middleweight, not middleweight, like a middle of the road replayability, like most games have. Because there's not a lot of different setup. Like you said, the player boards you get just have a minor different way that you can score some victory points. But other than that, I feel like it's going to be mostly the same game, depending, of course, on what comes out first and what order things happen, and we're going to talk more about that later. But yeah, I think it's good. You can play this. It's one of those games like you have to play it 5, 6, 7 times to be better at it, to be good at it, and then you can play it more if you like it. But most people play games 5, 10 times, so I think it's pretty good for that.
Yeah.
No worries. I think I would happily play this 5, 10 times without being bored of the core gameplay.
Yeah, I agree.
So the gameplay then, we do have a lot of positives, but should we start with the highest negative, like the biggest thing that makes this a lot less fun for me?
Yeah.
And for you?
Yeah. I have one thing that I really struggle with in this game, and it bothered me a little the first time we played it, and it bothered me even more the second time around, because I'm just like, oh, well, this is actually not fun at all, like this one thing. And the thing is that the persons that you can like involve yourself in and the experiments,
the prototypes.
Yeah, some of them match each other. Like they have like a little thing in the bottom that says this matches with that. And if you get both of those and complete both of those, they are worth 4 extra points. And it's completely random whether the ones that you've taken even have a matching experiment in play this round.
Yeah, that will be in the game.
Yeah.
You don't know when, I don't know why. Like the last time we played, I got 8 extra points in the last round because there just happened to be 2 persons out that matched with the prototypes I have built.
Like completely random.
And in a game with so little randomness, like there's almost no randomness in you're not rolling the dice, like there's mostly just player interaction. And adding that thing, like 4 points is quite a bit.
It's
in a game where you get like, maybe, I don't remember how much points we got, but maybe like 70, 80, 90 points.
That's like the same amount of points that you could get for sending one of your dice away. That could mean like victory or not.
Yeah, so it feels... I don't understand why it's there. Like, we have talked about it and we haven't really come to a conclusion to why it's there. And I would love to hear from the designer, because maybe there's something we haven't seen, like, and he's explaining, it's like, okay, that does make sense. But for me and for us, how it feels now, it feels like a super random luck element in a game with little luck, with a game with a lot of skill and a lot of player interaction and trying to play the other players and trying to play the game. And then I just get 8 points on luck.
Yeah, I think it's cool that the designer, have tried to connect
I like that.
The prototypes with the persons. I think I really like that, but the way it's done, it feels... Yeah, it's because, like you said, because everything else in the game seems so thought through, that you can plan, that you can... It's so solid. I'm especially like... unhappy that this is a part of the game. I really don't like it. And also the player interaction, the kind of mean things,
Yeah.
that doesn't bother me that much. You have to kind of set yourself in situations that you can get some positive out of the negative
Yeah.
that may happen to you, because yeah, it could, but also I've taken a lot of the negatives myself because they're also a neat bonus there. So I don't feel like that is a huge problem for me in this game.
No, people have asked us, and that's we need to address like the take
Yes.
that, which you have started to do, and we usually hate take that.
Yeah.
Like we usually hate like taking away your stuff, but for some reason it like you said hasn't bothered me a lot here. I think like the worst thing that happens is when somebody gives you a loan. Like basically when someone says, "Here, you have to pay 4 coins."
Yeah, I did that to you.
I don't have
last time. Yeah.
And the time before I played that, when you weren't playing, I think I gave away 3 or 4 loans to people because I saw like. But then again, you have to. Then if you get yourself really thinned out of money, that's gonna happen because if somebody sees that, and especially if you see like you have little money, and you see people have prototypes they can build with that kind of thing on them, it's gonna be a problem. So you can kind of work your way around it and try to do the damage, try to get less damage from it. And I don't think any of the take that elements are like, haha, you lose 10 points, or haha, you lose 16 on the income track. It's not super heavy stuff. It's just like small things which weights up like basically it is like you said earlier in the review, get -3 income, get 2 victory points. I have to balance that. Do I want those 2 victory points and go 3 down, or do I want you to go 3 down to get those 2 victory points?
Yeah, and you can get like a card that you take away something and get Buzz, and maybe I don't need Buzz right now, but you really need it. Do I then want to like
Give it to me.
Yeah, I think that is a really interesting element in this game, and for some reason I'm okay with it. I think though, if you have some players in your group that like just are jerks, it could be a problem if someone like attacks you with those cards again and again and again, but you get usually something positive in return, so I think you're going to be fine actually.
And also, if you play with Rado, don't play this game.
Yeah, I think
It's
that
too
would
much
be
for him.
too much.
So we have now found out that we are less Care Bears than we thought we were earlier.
Yeah.
But we still are Care Bears, but
We are.
not on the level that Rado and other people are. But but it didn't bother me, and I think that we tried to explain the why now, so if that makes sense to you, or else just ask a question in the comments and we will try to explain more about why it doesn't matter, or if it will matter to you. So, is there anything else you want to add? Like, it's a super solid game.
Yeah, it is. It's super solid, and I think that choosing your battles is really interesting in this game. I feel like this whole game is just like choosing your battles. If I use my dice to get those 2 cogs to build that prototype, there's a dozen things that I'm not going to be able to do. And last time for me, that was the income track, and that was really hard because the first time I played it, I got all the money in the world. So I think this is a really interesting game.
It is. So should we do final thoughts?
Yeah, I've begun on that. I felt like.
Yeah, you can finish it.
Yeah, I really like this game, but I don't like this one element, and that actually drags it down for me. And I think that's pretty sad because I like all of the other stuff.
Yes.
But this for me lands on a 7.5, and that's because of that random element.
Yeah.
You could just take it away, but I don't like house ruling games.
We don't like that, especially for reviews. Doesn't make sense.
No, and I think there's obviously a reason that it's there, and I want to respect that, but I disagree. I want to become a designer now. I want to fix this.
Then we have to
No,
stop
I
reviewing
don't.
games.
I'm sorry.
So yeah, let's not do that. So I agree with you. I wanted to like this maybe more than I did. I was hyped for it, but I try to always not make hype make the game harder to like. So I really like the game. I love the choosing, like trying to feel like, oh, how much do you want to go? Well, I'm gonna try to go one more just so I will go first, and trying to outsmart your opponents. I like the interaction here. I really like how tight it is. getting the resources and trying to choose, do I need to build this now? Will I build this later? Will I go for a lot of prototypes? Will I go to hire people, which will give you special abilities? All of these different things make this super, super good. I also agree that the luck element is dragging it down. I'm going to rate it the same as you, 7.5. Super good game. It was amazing. If you thought that you will like it, but based on this review, you probably will like it.
Yeah.
And I hope you will play it and enjoy it.
Yes.
So that's the end of the review.
Yes.
I'm Johannes.
And I'm Sunniva.
And you've been watching Board Gaming Ramblings, and bye-bye.